Something came towards you that was yours, and you immediately clocked it as such, and then there was Mercury retrograde. So we're gonna work through it. I've got some cards here, and I want to talk about this false start because it seems like something happened pre-Mercury retrograde. And when I pull on that, when I pulled on the energies, I got that there was this true hopefulness, this real excitement, and maybe that whole anticipation became something of burden. Disconnection was required in order to heal thyself and feel grounded. And I even think there may have been a shamanic healer or someone who came in as a different aspect of this element to give another perspective. And in that perspective was this recognition of this emotional burden of anticipation and fear of achieving, fear of success. Because there is such a thing, right? Like, we know about the fear of missing out. We know that. We know that there's this, like, oh, I run around chicken with its head cut off kind of energy. But there's also a fear of success, because coming into something that you know you want, coming into to truly appreciate something that you've been manifesting, can be terrifying in its own way. If you've ever had a marriage or planned a wedding or something big like that, then you know what I'm talking about, in this anticipation panic that can come up. And it seems like there was some sort of masculine figure, maybe a healer, maybe someone who's just very introspective and kind, come through to try to shift the perspective and give alternative options to this understanding, to this collective. Now, it could have shuffled out a couple different ways, and this is something that I speak to with my clients regularly, is there's different timelines available to us at all times. Okay, we are multidimensional beings, and there are multidimensionals available to us, and it's up to our own vibrational frequency and where we choose to be, how self-aware we are, and how we vibrate out depends on what we are going to connect to. Okay, we can't connect to something of a really lower vibration if we're on a higher vibe, right? So that's all to say, there was some masculine figure who came in to try to shift the perspective and give more options and let the whole picture sink in a little bit wider. Okay, but ultimately the root of this connection is because these energies have been working towards this for so long. The anticipation and the anxiety is worthy because it has been wished for, it has been wanted. So that's all warranted. There is a lot of pain and a lot of waiting and a lot of, I want to say, like, there's almost like a love-starved energy here. There's a frequency of, like, knowing that if you just wait for the right thing, you can have something perfect. Even, of course, perfection is an illusion. So anyways, I do believe the Akashic records were revised. They were I do believe the Akashic records were checked in. Okay, I do believe there was some sort of, excuse me, can I get a map check here at some point over the Mercury retrograde? And it did involve a masculine. So this masculine may have been a water sign, didn't have to be. But Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio is coming up pretty big, as well as bear energy. So if you align with that, you align with that. Now, in the current, that's how we got here. The current frequencies that we're in now, the first card that came up was the Hermit reversed. And I'm like, what do you mean? Because that means you're coming out of reflection. That means there is some projection of the reflection that is coming up. So, oh, here's what I found. Come see what I found. See how this works. So the current energy also had heal the ouchie in reverse. So there may have been some, like, look at my pain moments with the people involved in this connection. Now, like I said, this was pre-Mercury retrograde in our first list of cards, but now I'm looking at the post-Mercury retrograde, and then we're going to look towards the Venus retrograde, which is, of course, upcoming right after the eclipses. Yeah. So this is the eclipse energy post-Mercury retrograde. What is going on? This looks like I found something painful and I want to show you. This looks like I gotta talk to you about something. I figured it out. And it's gonna hurt. It hurt me and it's probably gonna hurt you. But I gotta tell you. That's where we are now. Door to Value showed up. Love this card, by the way. This is an opportunity to appreciate yourself, and by appreciating yourself, you get appreciated properly, and you get reviewed and seen and responded to in a proper fashion, right? So there's some financial reward the universe wants to bestow upon you when you deal with this, when you don't ignore the pain, when you bring up the root of the problem. Because Mercury retrograde obviously had us really excited for something, and then the anticipation definitely created some sort of panic. And in that moment, there was a chance to look and see, like, why am I not comfortable with success? Why am I not comfortable with this expansion? What is it in me? And that's where we end up with the Hermit and the Heal the Ouchie, right? Because this energy says, I'm the problem. I'm the common denominator. I need to figure out what it is. I can tell it's me. And then maybe even sharing that information outwards. And I feel like the universe is like, yes, that's exactly what you need to do. And cha-ching, here's your reward for doing it. High Priestess, the Death card. Secrets disclosed and everything changes. It has to. So like, whether it's trauma that you experience that you need to speak about now, and you're moving different because you're speaking about it. It could be something in your history with the Hermit at the beginning of the cards here too. There's some sort of like self-evaluation that you're now dealing with differently. And I don't feel like you're pandering it out, but it definitely experiences some sort of like shift in your receptivity and how you're deciding to move through life. Cobra in the reverse here. It may have been like recognizing where you were defensive, or why you were defensive, or what's triggering you, and what's going on with you, give you a second to reflect on where you're the problem and where you may be biting yourself, right? 8 of Swords, perfect example of that kind of energy, like being in your head too much. Confusion came up in the reverse, so there is clarity here after confusion, and also recognizing that overthinking things is a way to create more issues. It's generally the easiest answer is the right one. We have the central sun in the reverse. Again, I do think there was, and the why. These two came out together. This card talks about our consciousness, ancient consciousness, and being able to tap in. When it's in reverse, it's just a little less applicable. It's a little less effective in the spread. With the confusion being in the reverse, there's kind of like a remembrance of like, I know I have a giant antenna to God and I can hear spirit and source. So where is it? Why did I lose myself to my basic instinct fears when obviously I can hear something greater? There's a memory of it, right? There's like I know I can do this. If I just like stop thinking so much and feel, I can probably just figure out my way through this. And again, the why, right? This was from my mermaid deck, and I love this deck. Without a rich heart, treasure is less likely to be discovered. So poetically perfect for this, because I really do think that there was a sense of like, not truly believing that you could be happy or have this thing that you manifested, that it came in and you were like, oh my God, this is amazing. There's got to be something wrong with it. There was this like doubt surfacing, and in that doubt created a poverty, created a lack mindset, and therefore the confidence of a rich heart, which can truly love and be loved without worry and care, was, not applicable. It wasn't available. I don't know why I keep saying not applicable. Interesting. That might be something for someone. Anyways, Queen of Cups in the reverse, and then I got 2 goddess cards, Saraswati and Shikeni. Presence of the divine feminine at the center of everything. There is light. I am that light, and the essence of who I am flows effortlessly into everything I create. The goddess of self-knowledge. Saraswati is so much more than that, but I digress. There is this divine feminine frequency shifting in pride and coming into that. Like, a lot of the time we think of pride, we think of masculine frequency, but the expression of feminine pride is in the recognition. It's not in, hey, look what I did. It's thank you for what you did. You're welcome. That's where the pride is. It is in the gratitude. Okay. Yeah, so there's so much healing in this self-awareness and accountability that immediately follows of like, nope, I know where I fucked up. I know where I'm stumbling, because in so there's a clarity that comes, and now there's not so many obstacles in front of you because you're not afraid to be like, hey, that's an obstacle. This whole like anticipation thing really blocked the logic for a long time, but I think it's coming back in. I think the trust in the divine is there. There's like one big accountability step that has to be done, one big like truth thing that has to be said in order for this to really register and this path to clear. But it requires the accountability. So whether it's like someone saying, you know, I did this because of that, or this happened because of that, and it's my fault, whatever it is, where the accountability can lie, that's where we're going to see the most growth and transmutation of negative stuck energies. So let's see what's coming. So like I said, this is the eclipse and post Mercury retrograde. This is Venus retrograde. This is what's coming this autumn. It initiates at the end of August. I can't believe I'm at 11 minutes already. So we'll see how many readings I get out of this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Anyways, these are the cards for Venus retrograde and what's coming for this manifestation that started well before the shadow of Mercury retrograde and into the current eclipse energy as it is changing. We got the first card was the Sun card. I cannot think of a better card to get during a retrograde phase, because we're talking about a cleansing. Retrogrades in my study and what I've seen is that during a retrograde phase there are different steps to it, and one of those steps is called the combustion. This is where the sun and the planet come together and they do a frequency connection that has a blast of cleansed energy into whatever planet it is. Like the sun completely cleanses this energy, and in doing so there's a reset of what this frequency provides and how it evolved. Okay, so this is absolutely beautiful. I feel like there's actually something really great coming through for the Mercury and Venus retrograde that we're going to be seeing in the autumn, particularly in October. But I want to look at all these cards. There's a lot of them here. Details in the reverse. So this is, again, with the clarity card here and the sun card here, there is something about understanding the peskiness of particulars and how over analyzing the small shit is going to get you to miss the moment that you're in. It can actually be a form of distraction to be so focused on all, like, the littlest part of a scenario, situation, conversation, whatever it is, to be hyper focused on something really, really tiny and not looking at the bigger picture or the bigger effect of this hyper focus. It can be like obsessive. And so there may be a shedded light on that. Like, okay, you were overthinking. Maybe there's a bigger problem here. Maybe you have an anxiety disorder. Maybe there's some sort of therapeutic thing that can come through for you to help this, right? But either way, there's a recognition in the Venus and Mercury retrograde in Scorpio of someone overanalyzing, overthinking. Yeah. It's actually going to be a really big problem. It's going to freak this person out. They may have some issues. There may be panic attacks. There may be fights. In the Venus and Mercury retrograde coming up, and I'm really thinking this has to do with Leo energy as well as Gemini frequency. I can't see a tornado and not think of a Gemini. Sorry, Gemini. But there's something here about this being the last time this happens subconsciously. Okay, it may be a pattern. Justice in the reverse. Yeah. Unbalanced. And I say this a lot to my clients, people who have been diagnosed with things like bipolar, or mania in general. Like, you really do need to understand your astrology, because when that shit's happening, to be able to look up at the sky and be like, oh wait, you know, like Mercury is throwing out extra fucking crazy cocktails right now, so maybe I'm a little drunk on the energies. Right? And knowing that gives power. Anyways, I digress. I feel like there is some healing to be done and some recognition of one's own patterns that has potentially almost sabotaged something great for them in the past. And they're going to be dealing with it this autumn. The well, okay, so again, there's this, and then the mermaid's purse, also kind of giving the same. Does this not look so similar in the drawing? It's weird, right? Yeah. And then the Nine of Cups. Lakshmi. Okay. You attract good fortune and bring justice to those who may destroy you. And the well. There's this like, you know what? I can curb this energy myself. It can drive me. I think it's been driving me. But maybe I can drive it myself. The Lakshmi is the goddess of abundance, but she's so much more than this. There is a creative element here of trusting that everything is for you. And like, okay, if this is all for me, then what can I do with it, right? And I think there's some sort of pattern recognition of one's own mental health and like maybe the effects of certain types of transits. And understanding like, okay, well, if I get manic between this and this time, maybe that's a really good time for me to be in school because then I can study like crazy. Or I can do short-term work and with high pay because I have these bouts of energy and I can clock it with the astrology. I'm telling you guys, there's more to it than this. Go the distance, chop wood in the reverse. So yeah. Big picture, okay, pulling back to recognize the bigger picture and the way that you can utilize your own experiences and your own perception. We got the High Heart Activation card, the Achievement card, and the 7 Angels of Chakra. Someone's being elevated. Someone's being woken up to their own power, to their own divine connection. This is a really fucking important thing, which makes sense as to why this connection or this development in your life, whatever this is, did not take off right away, because it is a really big fucking deal. It is a really, really big fucking deal. Okay. Yeah. So this here, chop wood in reverse and go the distance, definitely getting out of this like over analyzing small things. What if, getting out of that and just letting yourself see the bigger picture, that literally transcends and it clicks something in and there's something big and beautiful and boisterous and amazing that comes out of that. 3 cards I got for the animal deck was the lizard reversed. So moving past your lizard brain, cheetah upright, and the phoenix. We got a lot of fire energy here, guys. And the phoenix, I mean, come on. Like, there's so much spiritual evolution happening here where people are like literally moving, transcending the ego. Such a fucking amazing level. Okay, I got the King of Wands, which is funny because like looking at this pile now, this guy was reversed when I first flipped it over, but somehow he's upright now. And justice came up reversed. Again, with those storm warnings, I do want to clarify these energies. I feel like a bad thing has to happen. But there's evolution that comes from it. So there may be a version or a part of a job or a person or an experience that you haven't seen yet, but you have an inclination that it's there. And there have been clues along the way that this was coming. And to get through this, you really need to look at the bigger picture. And you're going to have to check yourself a couple of times about it. Because there's going to be moments where you're like, this is a lot right now. But ultimately, this too will pass. And there's some sort of beautiful transcendence that comes with the autonomy of knowing how to work what patterns that you have ingrained in you, the ones that can't be broken, how to drive them to your benefit. Yeah. Okay. That was a long reading.